Happy Tuesday, everyone. Yay, there's people coming. Yay, yay, yay. I'm so grateful to see you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to take some time today. Is it 11? Look at God, 11:11. Yes, God. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hey, Abita. I saw your message. I'm going to respond to that, too. I just wanted to let you know that. Hola. So I will, I'll get started in just a second here. Texas. Hey, Texas. I was just talking to my girls from Texas. I love Texas. I'm going to be going down there in June, actually. I'm excited. So yes, God. So I wanted to come on today, and I know that I kind of did a little bit of a poll earlier. I don't know if you saw it or not. I know Instagram's algorithms are kind of whatever, but I made a post this morning about being transparent and how when you share your story, you help other people to release guilt and shame around their stories because, you know, as we know, we live in a very kind of superficial society. Somewhat. Well, some people live in a superficial society. I don't live in a superficial society. I live in a very authentic society, which means that when I encounter superficial people, I see right through them because as soon as they open their mouth, they'll basically tell you all of their issues if you know how to listen and perceive properly. But so with that being said, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and be transparent about some things today. And I wanted some input about what things that you all want to hear about. I am down in Durham, North Carolina, but I am hailing from Rochester, New York. Yes, God, the Rock is in the building. But so the things that I talked about being transparent about was there were three options or three kind of ideas that I threw around, which were attracting toxic relationships. And that doesn't necessarily just mean romantic relationships. That can be friendships. That can be all types of things. The other one was fasting for health. And then the other one was, what was the other one? Toxic relationships, fasting, and look, I don't even remember what the last one was. I'm definitely a New Yorker. I'm not from around here, but I run it around here. You know what I'm saying? Yes, God. I actually forgot what the other one was, so I guess we're going to just focus on those two. If there's anything that you all would like me to discuss or you have any questions, please let me know. This is definitely an interactive thing. I like my talks to be like that. I'm kind of free-flowing and just going with the flow right now. So I did see a couple comments about toxic relationships, and I think that is definitely a pattern that I have seen in my own life and that I see in a lot of women's lives and men's lives as well. So I wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit. Yes, they are very great topics to work on. So I think, and actually as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about how they actually tie in with one another as well. And I will kind of get there. So basically, I've discussed this before. Hey, everyone. I've discussed this before in terms of energy and in terms of attraction, universal laws, the things that we create, the things that we attract. So I'm just going to premise this conversation by saying that it is my belief and my truth and my experience that I attract into my life who and what I am being. And that doesn't necessarily mean who and what I am projecting. That means who and what I am actually being, who and what I am actually feeling. And those two things are very different. And I think a lot of times people get confused by that because they don't understand that who you're projecting is not always, unfortunately, it's a lot of times not in alignment with who you actually are on the inside. Total confirmation. This is a total confirmation. 5 minutes before I picked up my phone, I was thinking about all the women that are currently participating in my 7-day wellness challenge, and it dropped in my spirit that I should be very, very open with them. And then boom, Instagram notifies me of your live. Yes, God. Exactly. Perfect example. This is a perfect example right here of exactly what I just described. You were vibrating, resonating on a certain thought wave, right? So guess what you received? That is a perfect example. Now imagine and know and try to wrap your mind around the fact that that happens all day long. That's what life is. That's what life consists of. That interaction right there that just happened, that coincidence, that, divine timing, that's what life is. Life is all about that. So when it comes to looking at relationships that we actually become intimately involved with, whether, that's people you're doing business with, whether that's clients, whether that's employees, whether it's bosses, whether it's significant others, whether it's partners, whether it's friends, whether it's even enemies. Okay? Get that. Even if it's enemies, your connection to people always is a mirror for you to be able to look at how you're feeling about yourself. Okay? Now, I will make this disclaimer. Some people are just assholes. Okay? But I think we're hard pressed to find any one person in this world who has not ever just been an asshole. So when you have asshole things happen to you and you feel like, wow, I didn't deserve that. Wow, I was just minding my business. Wow, da-da-da. It may not have been right now that you gave that asshole vibe off. Maybe you an asshole last week. Maybe you an asshole 10 years ago. So let's think about that when we're looking at relationships, because a lot of times what happens is we tend to get caught up in this victim energy of, oh my God, I can't believe they did this to me. Oh my God, they're such a shitty person. Oh my God, they betrayed me. Oh my God, they lied to me. Oh my God, they didn't respect me. Oh my God, they didn't honor me. And then we never really take that time to go inward and take that accountability and take that responsibility for how we're actually treating ourselves. The moment you said transparency, I got goosebumps, but I do believe that especially on social media, we really need to be careful who we checked into our lives and be our thoughts and vibration. Yes, God. On social media and everywhere, we always have to be very, very mindful and very discerning, because here's the thing. People show you their character immediately. There is no such thing as a joke. There is no such thing as humor. Okay? Listen to what people say out of their mouths. And this is what I was referring to earlier in the video when I said that people show you who they are. How a person does anything is how they do everything, okay? So what people joke about, they're not joking. That is a deep-rooted belief. Anything that anyone is talking about, laughing about, paying attention to, gossiping about, listening to, entertaining, okay, they are revealing to you, okay, what they have going on inside of themselves, okay? That's why it is so mindful to fill yourself. We have to be very intentional about reprogramming our minds. We have to be very intentional about programming the intention that we want to have dwelling within us. Yes, I agree. We know to really get in alignment with our God reality and be comfortable, so our vibration is about elevation to be our best self at all times, but we are not at our best self. Yes, God. And that means exactly, thoughts do become actions. And thoughts create emotions, okay? And the emotions are what attract to us, okay? So if we're walking around, and I'm going to do this a story time, okay? I'm going to talk about myself, and I'm going to give you an example of one of the relationships that I have been in my lifetime, okay? So after I had my youngest, I like you too, and I appreciate you as well. After I had my youngest child, so I was in a very toxic relationship with my youngest two children's father. And actually, to call it a relationship is a bit of a stretch. It was kind of like a thing, and then I got pregnant. Let's just be honest, okay? I wasn't really I'll save some, I'll honor some anonymity, but that wasn't really my thing. Like, he wasn't really my type. Like, it just wasn't a thing. And then it was like the universe was like, oh, but we're telling on you because now you're pregnant. So what are you going to do now? So I had to make a decision. And of course, everyone knows the decision that I made. I went ahead and had my children. But basically that dynamic was, in my mind, very toxic. And toxic also is a very relative word. Let me just interject this, because what's toxic to one person could be an elevation for another. Okay? And what's healthy to one person could be toxic to another person. So it's all relative on where your current base energy is. This is why I tell people I'm a real person. I can't hide who I am. No, God. No, God. Yes, God. Honesty is always the best policy, because it's going to come out. It's going to come out no matter what. So we were in this dynamic, and I just felt very betrayed by this person. I felt very disrespected. I felt unappreciated. It was just not something that I wanted to be involved in. And after that situation, I then got involved with another toxic situation. And, I'm not going to go into the details of the actual relationship, but I will say this. Looking back, now that I have kind of, it all imploded, because we were trauma bonding and this and that. Looking back and zooming out and taking an objective perspective of this person and all of the complaints I had about this person and how poorly they did this and how poorly they did that, I said to myself, wow, Megan, you're the common denominator in these toxic relationships. Me, I am. I'm the common denominator. These are different people. However many people you have. These are all different people that you've had toxic dynamics with. So is it them or is it you? Now, it very well may be them in regards to what they need to focus on, but what do you need to focus on? Do you think it's best to focus on the plethora of toxic connections, or would it be wise to focus on the common denominator and the only thing that you have control over, which is yourself? So once I did that and I took a step back and I said, wow, let me write down and let me actually examine these things and see what the complaints are that I have about this. And I looked at that list and I said, wow, I must really feel like shit about myself. God damn it. I must really feel like shit inside if I would even allow myself to share spaces with people who would treat me this way. And not even just share spaces with people that would treat me this way. Damn, I'm treating myself this way. That's the thing that we have to understand and take accountability for, is that people can only treat you how you feel about yourself. If you're in a toxic situation, in a toxic relationship dynamic of any type, it is because you do not honor yourself. I was not honoring myself. I was not respecting myself. I was not valuing myself. I was not appreciative of myself. I was not taking accountability for myself. I was not willing to do the work. I was looking for someone else to make me feel good about myself. I was not validating myself. I was not affirming myself. So when you don't give those things to yourself and you put those things in the hands of another person, it's bound to fail. It is bound to fail. No one else can give you what you have first not given to yourself. Because if you're in that place where you're even looking or expecting those things from another person, trust and believe you're not going to attract anyone who's any higher than that. This is how it goes, okay? When you're here, you're not going to attract this. You're going to attract this, okay? When you're here, you're not going to be drawn to this. This is not even going to appeal to you. Let me tell you something. I get guys in my inbox all the time. Arrogant. What's your number? Give me a call. Hey, what are you doing? I'm taking initiative with my life and building a life by my design, and I'm trying to become wealthy so that I can help the world. What are you doing? I'm taking initiative, but you're not taking initiative to look at all of the information that I presented on social media and coming to me with some actual rapport that makes sense and shows me that you're taking initiative too. No, God. See what I'm saying? I can immediately tell about a person's character by how they approach me. Especially being someone who is very public, who has a lot of my information, who puts out a lot of content. If you come in my inbox asking me what I'm doing, you're not my type. You're not my type. Period. Okay? And so this is what we need to understand, and we need to not be afraid to have this type of discernment and make these judgments. There's a difference between being judgmental and making judgments. Okay? It's very important to make judgments and to make sound judgments, because it can save us a lot of time, it can save us a lot of pain, it can save us a lot of heartache. Okay? Nobody has time for that. And I can honestly say in my life, around the time that these toxic relationships were kind of formulating and happening, is when I started incorporating steaming, vaginal and yoni steaming into my life. And I promise you, it wasn't an overnight thing, okay? It was not an overnight thing. But what happened was I was able to start to get real with myself. I was able to start to get honest with myself. I was able to start to admit the truth to myself, which was that I was fucking miserable inside. I was not happy, okay? The little bit of scarce attention that I was basically begging and pleading for was not enough. It wasn't making me happy, and I wasn't focused on myself. I was so focused on trying to get that from another person instead of pouring in and doing the work and being alone and understanding myself and understanding the areas that I still had pain, that I still needed to work on, that I still needed to work through, that, you know, I was miserable, and I had to admit that. I missed a comment. Let me go back and read this. I apologize for your hardships from what you experience. A lot of times, or in truth, most of the time, we don't want to look at ourselves and the energy we hold. God has us in the best of all time. Yes, God. And you know what? Honestly, thank you for that. And honestly, like, I feel like I'm not even sorry for that. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for those experiences. And it's what's so ironic is that now God has, you know what's so funny? When I literally first moved into this place, I almost didn't move here because one of the people lives very close. He actually lives right at the corner of my street. Okay. One of the people that I'm discussing right now. And I was like, oh, I don't want to move there because I don't want him to think that I'm trying to be near, you know what I mean? And all this other stuff. And then I was like, this is a great deal. The space is amazing. God had already kind of given me the message through someone else that this was going to be a space where I was going to be running my business. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. Fuck him. Fuck what he thinks. And see, those are the types of decisions that we have to make sometimes. We have to liberate ourselves and understand and stop being so concerned about what other people are going to think and what they're going to say and how they're going to feel. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what other people say, think, and feel. What only matters is what you say, think, and feel. Because guess what? What you say, think, and feel is going to dictate who you're attracting in your life. So people that are saying, thinking, and feeling negative things about you, the only way that you're going to vibe with them is if you're saying, thinking, and feeling negative things about yourself. Yes, God. Which is great. Being honest, wonderful. Working on ourselves is great. Yes, God. So God has basically put me in a position to just really glow up right in front of his face. Look at God. Look at God. Look what God will do. Like, and it's just, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that experience because, and I remember even saying to this person, I said, wow. I said, you really revealed to me that I still have a lot of daddy issues. I still have a lot of abandonment issues. And he's such a jerk. He's like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. Like with a smart, sarcastic tone. Like, and that's the thing, like people who are cruel, they know they're cruel. And that's the thing that you have to understand about people who have and I was very on a narcissistic personality kick. I still think the person has narcissistic personality, but like we have to understand as Americans, especially, a lot of us have narcissistic traits. And why was I drawn and vibrating with someone who I felt had narcissistic personality? Because I had narcissistic traits too, obviously. Duh, like that's the whole thing that I'm saying. Like we cannot just sit there and point the finger at other people and not take any accountability for what is going on inside of us that has attracted them into our experience. So, and that's what I realized, like starting my business, doing this work, actually realizing that my energy had a direct correlation on my business. It had a direct correlation on how many people I was going to be able to affect, how many people I was going to be able to impact was really dependent on how I was going to be able to impact and affect myself. And that's the counterintuitive part of life. It's like we're so worried about everyone else and what people think and what people are doing and what people are saying and what people are da-da-da-da-da. And the bottom line is that the best way that you can make an impact is by focusing on you. That is 100% the best way. The best thing that you can do in this world is be the example. Just like Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Okay? He was doing it. He wasn't just talking about it. He was actually doing it. And that's why people respect him. Whether you liked him or you didn't like him, you have no choice but to respect him because he did it. Why? Because he had discipline. Okay? Discipline is something that we are missing as a society and as an American culture. We have to get it together, okay? We have to be disciplined enough to stop taking the lazy route in everything. Oh, it's their fault. Oh, it's this, that. Oh, because I got kids. Oh, because I got a job. Oh, because of this. Oh, because they didn't do this. Oh, because da-da-da-da. It doesn't matter what anyone else did or did not do. We have all of the tools that we need right inside of us. And this right here is going to be my bridge over to fasting, okay? Because discipline. And I've talked a little bit about this before, and I'm going to be getting more and more into this on this journey, but I just want to say this, and I am not an expert. I'm not a doctor. You don't have to take my advice. I am prompting you to do your own research, though. Most religions and spiritualities hold fasting in a very high regard, and that is for a very important reason. We all were created by a divine creator who made us perfect. Our bodies have healing power. Our bodies have healing power, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of us are not able to realize our body's healing power because we're constantly, instead of disciplining ourselves and dealing with our emotions and dealing with our suppressed traumas, we're trying to eat them away. I'm going to just be honest. We're eating them. I was eating them away. I was trying to eat them away. And what happens is every time you put something in your mouth, you're taking that healing power that has the ability to heal things that are happening in your body, and you're saying, no, focus on this cheeseburger instead. Gotta get that toxin out. Focus on that spaghetti. Focus on those fries. Focus on the whatever, insert whatever food you're addicted to there. Focus on that instead, okay? And it's because of a lack of discipline. And I'm just learning about this whole fasting because here's the thing. Not only is it what we're eating, it's the frequency of what we're eating, okay? The whole breakfast, lunch, and dinner thing is a scam. It's a marketing ploy. It's a marketing scam for restaurants, for fast food chains, for an entire industry of food, okay? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is a marketing strategy. Yes, God. Discipline. Yes, God. Discipline is the underlying foundation to success in anything. Doesn't matter what it is. So what happens with this healing power that's inside of us is we're constantly distracting it, and we're spiking our insulin every single time we put something in our mouths, okay? And what happens is when you're either obese or you have a health condition, okay, that healing power is being distracted from dealing with that. So what happens when you fast is that you give that healing energy an opportunity to go and address the imbalance that's happening in your body. Because fat is stored food. Fat cells come from, I ate breakfast, it was really good, now I want some lunch. I'm going to eat lunch. So as your body's trying to process out this breakfast, it's like, oh, let's store that to fat. We got to get this lunch now. Whatever you put in your mouth is always the first priority. Hey, girl. Yes. And honestly, Oshuniverse, even more than the American diet, it's the eating frequency. Your dad should be eating once a day, if not once every 2 or 3 days. I guarantee you, he starts doing that, he's going to see immense changes in his health. But why are people so averse to that? Why? Because if they stop eating, some people don't even like to think about not eating. Like, what? Not eat? How would I feel good? How would I have pleasure? There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong if the only time that we experience pleasure is from tasting things. How would you have pleasure? You could go outside and listen to the birds singing. You could feel the warm sunshine on your back. You could listen to the sound of the rain. You could walk on the earth. You could stretch your body. You could take a nice bath. You could read a book. You could write a journal. You could meditate. You could do some yoga. There's a lot of ways that you can experience pleasure without putting food in your mouth. Yeah, it's hard because unfortunately, and I don't know your father, and I send much love to him, he doesn't have discipline. Okay? And that's what we need. We need that for success in anything. We need it for success with money. We need it for success with health. We need it for success with physique. We need it for success with relationships. We need it for success in anything. Right. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people are suffering because they're lacking discipline. Okay, so fasting is an amazing way to practice, because I guarantee you start practicing in that way that's really, really hard and that you're really, really emotionally tight. See, a lot of people don't want to fast because they're food addicts, and then also fasting would reveal that they're also alcoholics and drug addicts. Let's just be honest. I can't drink. No, fast. Don't consume. You have enough body fat to last you a month. You don't need to eat. You can go for a couple days. And, this may be triggering some people, and that's definitely my intention. My intention is to trigger you because the only way that we change is when we're uncomfortable. The only way you're going to fix any health ailments or get the physique that you know that you deserve and that you can have is to stop doing that, lovely. That's the only way you're going to do it. Yep. So what fasting also does is it forces us to look at our issues, right? It forces us to process and think about, oh, I don't feel good. I want some chocolate. Okay, I'm not going to have chocolate. Why don't I feel good? Let me think about this. Let me sit with this. What is this? I don't like this. Because normally when we feel like that, we're like, give me some wine. Give me a joint. Give me some chocolate. Give me anything. Give me some TV. Give me some gossip. Give me some whatever to distract me from the fact that I'm not feeling good. And that's why we are the most obese, overweight, unhealthy, highest revenue in pharmaceutical sales country to exist. Because we're lazy, we're undisciplined, we're entitled, and we're arrogant. Period. So especially if you're dealing with a condition in your womb, which is your divine sacred space, sis, you got to get your eating under control. And it's so funny because I bring it up to my clients and, I'm like, so what are you eating? How are you? Oh yeah, I know I could be doing that better. What do you eat? It's like minimized. Like that's the main thing. That's even more important than the herbs. The herbs cannot save you. There is nothing external to you that you are going to be able to do that can outweigh piss poor eating habits. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. When you're ready to be disciplined and take a holistic approach to your health, yes, the herbs can speed it up real quick. Oh, they can drain and melt those fibroids right out. But if you're still eating like shit, guess what? They're going to grow back. And the steaming helps you to start to release. What steaming is going to do is it's going to bring up emotions for you. And then it's on you to think about and to make a decision and be disciplined about how you're going to deal with those emotions. The steaming can only take you so far, sis. It can't take you the whole way. You got to do the work. There is no elevator. You got to take those stairs. You got to lift those muscles and you got to work and you got to have it hurt. It's got to be uncomfortable sometimes. But let me tell you something. The result is worth it. The results are worth it. Thank you so much, Divine 1240. Yes, God. Yeah, so, I'm going to be doing a lot more on this. I'm personally have committed myself to a fasting lifestyle, honestly. I will never eat more than one meal a day. And at this point, because I do have body fat that I feel like I need to release, I'm doing prolonged fasts. I haven't eaten since Sunday, and I may or may not eat today. But yes, God. So, I'm grateful that I am able to have these experiences and go through these things, because I feel like really my life is on the chopping block. My life is like up for the whole world to see. God shared that with me several years ago, and I always intuitively knew that as a child. I used to, maybe this was a narcissistic view, but I always used to feel like there was a camera following me around when I was a young girl. And I guess maybe that's what cell phones are. Maybe I was just being prophetic about the future of technology, because we damn sure didn't have it when I was a little girl. But, I understand and am comfortable and have taken on the responsibility of being transparent about my life and my experiences, because I know that in that transparency, the seed for healing and impacting the world lies in that transparency. So I have a responsibility to always be striving to get the best information, to do the most research, to be very disciplined, to be very consistent, and to always be looking to progress and evolve. I'm trying intermittent fasting, but I want to try prolonged fasting. I have just been telling myself I need my energy to keep up with my 1-year-old. Girl, if you got extra fat on your body, let me tell you something. When your body goes into fat burning mode, you're going to have more energy. Listen, food does not give us energy. Unless you're slim, unless you have 7% or less body fat, food makes you tired. Let's be honest. That right there, that comment about food not having energy because we don't have food is another marketing strategy. Food does not give you energy. Food takes away from your energy, unless you're eating living foods, which most of us are not. And even too much living foods will still take away your energy. Your energy, once you eat something, has to be focused on processing that food. If you're not eating and you're allowing your body to switch and say, okay, oh my God, there's no food here, there's no food. Usually we had some cookies and carbs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch and coffee and creamer and everything else to keep us boosted up, because what you're doing when you're feeding your body that is you're enabling your healing energy to be lazy and to not do what it's designed to do. That's just a form of laziness. Eating unhealthy food is a form of laziness, and it's a form of not being disciplined. Because what happens when you don't eat those foods is your body's like, oh my God, we need some fuel. Oh, there's some fibroids. Let's chomp those up. Oh, there's some endometriosis. Let's chomp that up. Oh, there's some PCOS. Oh, there's some fat. Let's start burning that. And let me tell you something. Your focus and your clarity and your concentration and your mind power when you're running off of fat versus food, baby girl, it's through the roof. It is through the roof. Okay? But a lot of us have never experienced that, because as soon as we feel hunger, oh my God, I'm hungry, I need to eat something. Most of us have enough body fat to last us for 2 to 3 months. High key. High key. Be disciplined. Be willing to get uncomfortable. Stop trying to suppress your emotions with food. Okay? And I'm not talking at you, because these are all conversations that I had with myself. These are all revelations, that anything that I ever share, any content that I ever talk about, are all things that I have done with myself. I have a fasting journal. Okay, I've been journaling every day this fast, and I am actually going to write a book on it. Because I realized even after I did the 7-day fast, you know what I did? I went and ate a whole bunch of bullshit. Because I was like, oh my God, I haven't had this. And it was that entitled, arrogant, spoiled. I want to have this and I want to have that. But I needed to go through that to learn and understand, wow, you didn't gain half the weight back and now you feel like shit because your body has to process all this motherfucking bullshit you just ate. So trust and believe, I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. But what I am is willing. What I am is disciplined. What I am is committed. What I am is steadfast. What I am is strong-willed. That's what I am. So even when I screw up, see, I'm not just going to come on here and tell you about all the good things I've done. I'm going to tell you about the stuff that I messed up on too. Because I don't want you to start fasting and then mess up and think, oh my God, no. But also don't let that be your excuse. Well, Megan did it, so I don't have it. No, learn from my mistakes. Thank you for this. I couldn't put into words, but I was accused of starving myself, and that wasn't it. Let me tell you something. People around, are these people that are accusing you of starving yourselves, are they slim? Or are they fat? Why would you listen to a fat person tell you about physique? Why would you ever do that? You gonna let a poor person tell you how to get rich? You gonna let a fat person tell you how to be skinny? You gonna let a sick person tell you how to be healthy? We gotta start being more critical. We gotta be critical thinkers. We have to be critical thinkers. We have to look objectively at the condition of who we're receiving advice from. We have to. Our lives are depending on it, literally. Long time fasting from church. Yes, God. I can fast from no food, no. Yes, God. After fasting, I started with broth. Yes, God. Not slim. Okay. If you're not in optimal health and have your optimal figure that you can have, you're not telling me anything about anything related to how I can get there. The only reason that I'm sharing it in the I'm not even where I'm going to be yet. Like, my body is starting to change a little bit, but I'm not there yet. But again, you don't have to listen to me. Do your own research. Like I said in the beginning, I'm just here to give you the information to prompt you to do your own research. Okay? People overeat and they eat unhealthy foods because they are lazy about emotional processing. They don't want to process their emotions and they want to drown it in food. Period. Let's see. Which is criticism to my diet, and I knew it was wrong, but fasting is what it is. Yeah. And here's the thing. Like I said, instead of focusing on what you should be eating, because you got your vegans who think they're holier than thou, but their teeth are all messed up because they're not getting the minerals they need. Okay. Then you got your vegetarians that are eating cheese and bread all day. Okay. Then you got your, so here's the thing. Instead of focusing on, and that's a generalization too. I know that's not all vegans and vegetarians and meat eaters, but this is what I'm saying. Instead of focusing on what you're eating, this is the main takeaway that I need for everyone to take that sees this video. Instead of focusing on what you are eating, focus on when you are eating. Your eating window should be very tight. Ideally, it should be 1 hour out of 24. Okay? And I understand that takes time to work up to that. I didn't start at that. I started intermittent fasting. I started eating at 12 noon, and then I would go to like 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. A lot of times it would be 7 because I have children and my whole schedule. But again, that was poor planning and not being disciplined. Then I started tightening it up. Then it was 3 to 7. Okay. Then it was 5 to 7. Eventually it became 1 meal a day. And when I was doing 1 meal a day, I was pigging out. I was still overeating. You can still overeat with 1 meal a day. You can still eat way too many calories and still be a fat ass on one meal a day. You can. Again, the discipline, okay? Because what happens in you once you start to prolong fast and you actually go a day, 2 days, 3 days without having a meal and just having water. And by the way, I don't not just fast on water. I fast with a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt and some potassium so that I can still have my electrolytes. What happens when you start doing prolonged fast is you start to notice once you get past that hump of that hunger hormone called ghrelin, which is released, your body is forced to start using your fat, okay? And then you get this energy and this clarity that I'm telling you cannot be matched. I don't give a damn how many salads you eat. It's not going to be matched because it's very different when your body is using its own resources versus an external resource, okay? And that's a metaphor, yes, God. We have to stop looking for all of these external resources to heal us, and we need to start looking inside. What happens when you start to do the 1, 2, and 3, 4, I did 7 days. You build up a sense of confidence and a sense of accomplishment. Like, wow, I fucking did that shit. Okay, so I can do some hard stuff when need be. When I put my mind to something, no matter what, my mind is way more powerful than what my body and even what my mind is telling me. Because we have two sides of our mind. Check out the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Okay? God and devil are both in the mind. But that's a whole nother topic. When you can start to use the power of your mind to overcome your reality, wow, 90 days, amazing! Yes, God. And it's been done. People have done fasts for, people do really, really long fasts. Like I said, especially if you have a lot of body fat, technically you can survive for a very long time just drinking water. Because your body, and then there's the other myth. Oh, my body's going to break down my muscle. What muscle? What muscle? What muscle? Okay, and even if it does break down muscle, it's not going to do it before fat. Fat is easier to digest for your body than muscle. Your body is not going to start breaking down muscle or any healthy tissue until the fat is gone. So that's an excuse. But again, don't take my word for it. Research it for yourself. Look into the benefits of it. There's a document called the Essene of Fasting. And then also, I've just been talking about the physical reasons. Let's get to the spiritual part. I don't care if you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Baha'i, whatever you want to, I don't care. Doesn't matter. You're a human being, okay? You have a creator. When you fast and with the intention of creator, I am surrendering right now in supplication to your power because I know that your miracles abound all the time. But when I am not full and my healing power is on 100 and I'm open and available, I know that you have so much more room to work miracles in my life, God. And here's the thing too, we Christians, if there's any Christians that are listening to this, I want to know when's the last time you did a 40-day fast? Because that's what Jesus did. And he was leading by example. And he did a dry fast, which meant no water. You want to talk about discipline? There is no such thing as a leader or someone that impacts the world that does not have discipline. Some of the most divine things took place in my life in the last few years during the month of Ramadan. Yes, God, when we were fasting in the whole month, and I also fast about once a week for my spiritual muscles. Yes, God. Yes, God. There is something about the energy of fasting that brings about miracles in your life. So I love you all. I gotta go. My good girlfriend is here. We're getting ready to go hang out and do some work. I love you all so much. Thank you for participating, and I will talk to you soon.